Welcome back, everybody, to the Boys in Motion, the podcast where we chase the finish line and occasionally the sunrise. I'm Tyler, here with Brian and Andrew, and today we're diving into an absolutely epic endurance story.
That's right. Today we're joined by a very special guest, our former math teacher, Bernadette, who recently completed Closure 2025, paddling 63 kilometers across Lake Ontario in a dragon boat. And did we mention she was a part of the first all-women's crew to do it?
Now, if you would have told us back in high school that our math teacher would be out there crushing her endurance goals while inspiring others to do the same, I would have absolutely believed it, because back in the day, Bernadette was always one of our biggest supporters, so we love to see her out there paddling all the way across Lake Ontario. This episode is going to be full of wisdom, motivation, and stories that will probably make you want to sign up for something wild.
So excited to have you on here. Yeah, I guess the Welland Canal was just not big enough, so you decided to go across Lake Ontario. Do you want to bring us through, just give everybody the lowdown on what your endurance event was and what you went through?
Hello, and I'm thrilled to death to see my former students, and I was so touched that they even want to invite me on their podcast. Thank you. So it's interesting you say the Welland Canal is too small, because at one point we had two safety boats who were accompanying us for the whole trip. And like 2 weeks before the event, they pulled out for personal reasons. So we were without safety boats. So we were going to have to cancel it unless we found other safety boats.
Oh, wow.
You don't have to put this in your podcast this can be a banana part. I'm just telling you this. So then they said what an option would be, we can go up and down the Welland Canal. And we thought, well, how boring is that going to be? So anyways,
Exactly.
You don't have to put that in. That whole part can be a banana.
No,
Anyways,
I like it.
So I'm very excited about this, and the experience itself. The first thing when I read your question was exhilarating. It was just absolutely exhilarating. And then I thought it was also demanding, and it was definitely unforgettable. And I'm still in awe that I was able to do something like that. I'm 69 years old, and who would think that at that age that you'd be able to do something like that? Anyways, it was longer than expected. They had told us it would be 6 to 8 hours, and it wound up the trip like we were out there for 10 hours. We paddled for 8 hours, I would say, because there were more people than we need in the boat who were interested in participating. You have 20 paddlers. You have a person standing up at the back who steers and a person sitting up. We call them the drummer. And we had another 9 extra people. So after every hour, some people got out of the boat, other people got in the boat. Some people changed around, because our weight, how much each of us weighs, is very important in a dragon boat, because the boat has to be balanced. So when people get off and people get on, our coach spent hours. We had a seating plan for each hour when people got on and people got off, just to keep the boat balanced, front and back and left and right.
Oh, that's a crazy logistics.
Heavy, you tip. If you're right heavy, you tip.
Yeah.
So she spent an incredible amount of time setting up the seating plan, if you want, for each hour that we were out there. I paddled 6 of the 8 hours, and I wish I had paddled all 8, because I saw that I was totally able to paddle all 8, because we had a break about every hour. You know, some people got off, some people got on, etc. Anyways, it wound up taking 10 hours instead of the 8, because we had to change course because of the wind. We had a Coast Guard accompanying us, and they could see the wind and the waves coming in, so they would tell us. So we had to change course. At one time, we were quite a ways further east, and had to turn back to get back to the Toronto Sailing Club. So that extended it a lot.
Wow, that's interesting. I didn't realize that. Yeah, because I guess you had to point in the right direction too, but without tipping. And I had no idea the logistics, I guess, overhaul that your coaches and everybody had to get involved in and trying to sort that out, right? I didn't realize changing places, the waves.
thank God we had the Coast Guard, because we're like, at one point, we're in the middle of the lake. We can't see Niagara on the lake. We can't see Toronto. We're just in the middle of a lake.
That's crazy.
So without the Coast Guard, we wouldn't know where to go.
Right. And did you end up getting those support boats?
Oh yes, we did, but they were not the fancy ones that we had initially. But there's room for all of us, though. It was nice, and
Perfect.
we had a fellow probably your age who was driving the boat, and we're all women, like between the ages of 42 and 77, and we have to go to the bathroom on this boat. So we were it at all as much as we could. But he was really like as if he cared about a bunch of older women.
That's funny.
Anyways,
And you mentioned it at the beginning. I wanted to get your explanation again of why it was called Closure 2025. I found that really cool name.
Cross Lake Ontario, sure.
That's awesome.
It is.
And you guys all had those team jerseys?
Yes. Some wore them for the entire paddle. Some only put them on afterwards for the pictures. We only had one shirt. Some ordered 2 shirts. But none of this is answering the questions that you asked me, but that's okay.
Well, I'll go on to the next one. Really.
Well, also, like, in these situations, organic is best. And I need to... Tyler, Andrew, and I were commenting about this when you mentioned it. The setup of a dragon boat is something that I don't think any of us, and probably our listeners, don't quite understand. So it sounds like there's a lot of paddlers there. But the interesting thing to us, and this is because it's gone viral on socials right now, is the person at the front of some of these boats. I don't know if you've heard of this, but the aura farming people in the Indonesian dragon boat racing, they have like little guys who are out there dancing. What is that person like in your crew?
Well, our person she's a little younger than I am. So, and when you're out in the middle of the lake, you're holding on to that seat because you're moving. And she had a walkie-talkie in the other hand because she was communicating with the safety boats and with the Coast Guard. So she was holding on like crazy with the one hand. On the Welland Canal, where the waters are pretty calm, it's called a flat water center for a reason, because the waters are calm. There's some people who stand up at the front of the boat. There's one of the coaches who stands up at the front of the boat.
Some people dancing around and everything.
But
this was a bit more rocky than that, you would say.
Yes, quite a bit. Like there were, in fact, the first hour, I wasn't in the first hour. We were in the safety boat, and we could see them. All of a sudden, there were waves that were coming up, and we get the message. They're talking about turning around and coming back. We said, we just started. You can't come back. We're just getting started. And I hadn't even been on a boat yet.
You really wanted to paddle. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I wanted to do this. Like as soon as we got the email, the women in the boat were part of 6 different teams throughout Niagara region. And as soon as I got the email, I thought, I'm in the best shape I've ever been in. I'm not getting any younger. I'm in. I didn't give it any more thought. I'm in. And as word got out that I was doing it, other women in my crew said, well, if Bernadette can do it, I can do it. So then others signed up, because
that's amazing.
There's only one in our crew. She's a year older than I am. The others are all younger. So kudos to her and I. We're 69 and 70.
That's amazing.
So
this sounds like a great thing that you just did. Was there a fundraiser or some sort to do with this?
Oh, it was absolutely a big fundraiser. It was for something that's called OFILD, Options for Independent Living and Development. And it's for mentally challenged people in the community who can't manage to live on their own. So this was a single mom 45 years ago who bought a house for such challenged people. And over the years, she has bought 8 houses. The entire block belongs to these people. There's 50 residents in the home, and her son now manages the homes. They have gardens. They invited us to come and celebrate Canada Day with them, and we presented them with a big check. We had set a goal of $30,000, and we gave them a check for $25,000 and some $100. and they had made decorations for Canada Day. They had a nice lunch for us. They've got beautiful gardens everywhere. They've got a vegetable garden. Like they live well. They have a really nice home setting there. So it was a very valid cause that we paddled for.
That's amazing. And where could people go to find out more about this charity?
I believe it's ofild.ca, ofild.ca, I believe.
Okay, wonderful. We'll be sure to link it in the show notes and maybe put up a social post as well when we release this podcast.
Excellent. Thank you.
Great. Yeah. So I guess to prepare for this race, right? Or for this event, did you do any, obviously some training you had to get, you said you were part of a team. Did you do any specific training for that?
Well, we train all year. We train we have an indoor tank that got built thanks to the Pan Am Games years ago. So it's actually a tank. There's boats that don't move. They're big steel boats or aluminum, I don't know. But there's water, like they can push a button or turn a knob or something, and it creates waves. So it's like you're outside. So we train all winter. We do a half hour of strength and cardio, and we do an hour of paddling 3 times a week. And again, we're quite an age spread in our members, and the older ones, we're doing the same thing that the younger ones are doing. We're maybe not as strong, but I had to bench press half my weight to make the performance crew.
Oh wow!
So yeah,
you're doing more training than me sometimes in the winter. I can tell you that.
Well, it's the thing about dragon boating, and I've never done team sports before in my life. I can't bounce a ball and run at the same time. But being part of the team, your mindset is that the team is counting on me. So I have to be strong enough to pull my weight. And I don't want them worrying about, well, is she just along for the ride?
Right. Yeah.
Everybody has to be able to rely on everybody else.
And it's trust. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was especially important for that lake crossing. I think you said how we supported each other throughout the day. It was really important because nobody wants anybody else to quit, because we all want to make it.
Exactly.
So we all have to be able to rely on each other and count on each other. And the two very important people was the woman on the drum. She's actually our coach. And the steer person. She stands, and she was the only steer person, because the woman sitting up front, Brenda, she is able to steer, but not in rough waters, because she just had shoulder surgery.
Oh.
So the steer person, we call her Fireball Lori. She's got knee issues, and she was standing she stands at the back of the boat with this big long oar and steers the boat. And she, at one point, she had to stop. She needed a 20-minute rest because her knee was just killing her. And on one of the on one of the Coast Guards, they were all, the second Coast Guard, we had one Coast Guard from Niagara region, and then we had another one from Toronto, and they were all women. One woman, it was her day off, and she said, I want to be there for that thing. So it was women cheering on women. It was amazing. It was just amazing because we were an all women's crew.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's a great, like you said, great support system. And like you said, all women. The other thing you said that was interesting there was, everybody relied on each other in the team and supported that way. I think it's cool to see, because it's kind of an individual effort for yourself, right? Paddling through that boat, but everybody's relying on that individual effort to cross that crazy body of water. So that's I would say a perfect example of literally a teamwork. Effort. Yeah.
Teamwork. Yeah. And we the paddlers totally relied on Brenda and Lori at the front and the back of the boat, because when you paddle, you have to watch the people paddling in front of you, because the key thing in a dragon boat is all keeping paddling at the same time. We have to go in at the same time, we come out at the same time, or else the boat's not going to move. And like Brenda could see what was going on behind us. We can't see, So they were communicating and telling us what to do. Like if they needed us to pick up the pace, they would say something. At one point, the water was coming in the boat, so the people on the left side were bailing out water, and the rest of us, we just
Jesus.
paddle. And if there's a big wave coming, they said, just paddle, give me 10 hard strokes. And we just did whatever they told us to do.
The not being able to see where you're going and just full faith in that person steering is pretty crazy. You're just full faith, just paddling away.
She's amazing. Fireball Lori. She's amazing. She's amazing.
Where did she get the fireball from? Does she like Fireball?
She's just she's full of energy. She's funny as can be.
That's amazing. You need that energy too, I think, on a boat.
Oh,
right?
she's amazing. Yeah.
My question is do you have a nickname on the boat as well?
Oh, well, I can talk about the boat, actually. We don't have it. All of our boats have names on them. And this one is called the Jackie Harper. Jackie Harper was a former paddler who passed away 10 years ago at the young age of 35 from cancer. So her name is on the boat. Her mother was there filming. And at one point, we're wearing big vests. We're not wearing the little waist vests safety vests that we wear. We had to wear the big ones. And it's not something we normally wear. And one girl found in her pocket the identification card of Jackie Harper. So she was actually in the boat with us the whole time, which made it really special.
That's crazy. Yeah,
and that's amazing to be able to, cross that lake with her and in her honor.
Yeah.
A boat named after her. That's phenomenal. And
it was pretty special.
Yeah, to honor her like that is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you mentioned something about were you the second oldest in the crew at 69?
No, the average age was 62.
Okay.
So there's, a good number of people. The ages varied from 48 to 78.
To 78. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there were people older than I am.
Okay. The reason I ask is because people often use age as a reason to not dive into something new, to not do something hard. What would you say to that person who's maybe feels like they're sitting on the sidelines because they don't want to dive into something like closure?
Just let yourself try things. I used to tell my students at the beginning of the year about pushing yourself. And I would say, if I want to reach the ceiling and I just stand and hold up my arm, I'm not going to touch the ceiling. But if I stretch and I get on my tiptoes, if you push yourself, the only way you know if you're able to do something is if you try and you push yourself. And I have never let my age stop me from doing things. And more nowadays, you see people, 80-year-olds, who are still running marathons, who are skydiving, who are doing things. And I like that with this podcast. As an older person, I can encourage young people, and I love seeing you people being so involved in a physical activity, and keep it up. One of our paddlers, she's 80 years old. She has won national running marathons. I'll send you her name. Oh. And she's 80 now, and she has won all kinds of, I'm not sure she did triathlons. I don't think so, but she ran and she biked, and she's won national competitions.
Wow.
So and she's my hero. I said, I want to be you when I get older. So, and it's not limiting yourself. My husband is 10 years older than I am. I don't know if you want to put this in your podcast. He's 10 years older than I am, and we work out together. He's still plenty strong. He used to, when he was younger, he worked out in the gym all the time, and he's still doing it. He lifts things. I said, I don't even know how you do that, how you can lift that. I'm lifting it with two hands, like a weight, and he's got one in one hand, one in the other hand, and he's doing flies.
Well, I mean, if I was as active as you guys in your age, I'll take it, because that's amazing. And the feats you guys are doing, that's crazy.
I've got this email that I get, or a group that I follow. It's called Growing Bolder, Not Older. So the idea is to don't let age change you. You change the way you age. And it's so important. It's so important.
And that's what the research is showing, is like in the science of longevity, exercise is one of the key contributing factors to aging gracefully. And VO2 max, which you get through endurance sports, through training, along with your strength of your heart and muscles in your thighs are three of the key indicators to how
Absolutely.
long you will live and how well you will live at older ages. So I
Hmm.
think it's like they talk about the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, the next best time is now. It's the same thing with your fitness. And I think that's a call to anybody who's not exercising now
Yeah.
is it's not too late to start.
Yeah.
And a call to people too to keep going, because I was thinking about retirement pretty soon, but I don't think so.
Never, Tyler. I don't believe it. So I want to talk about your life in endurance sports and you diving into dragon boating. I see a collection of medals that I'm sure you're awfully proud of now, but it wasn't always part of your identity. So what was your entry point into
Well,
endurance
it's
sports?
funny. It was I went to a one of these shows, an expo show in Toronto, and there was a kiosk with dragon boaters, breast cancer survivors, and there's a whole crew of us, a whole bunch of us, and I'm a breast cancer survivor. And I thought, oh, that might be interesting, something I can do because I was approaching retirement. I was soon going to retire, so I've been doing this since just after I retired. So it's been 6 years now. So I talked to them and it sounded interesting. And they said, well, there's actually a crew in Welland. When I told them that I lived in Welland, I got in touch with the coach and I went for a trial. I liked it. One, I could do it, which I was surprised. Two, I liked it. And I've been doing it ever since. And it's good because I gave all my time to teaching. I didn't give myself time to develop any outside interests. So this takes up a lot of time. And I've met a lot of great people from all kinds of different walks of life, people I never would have met before. And like the medals of racing, like crossing the lake was very demanding endurance wise, but the races that we do throughout the summer are demanding as well. We do a typical race day. We do 200-meter races, 500-meter, 200-meter race takes a minute. It's very intense. It's all your power and it's done in a minute. Then there's a 500-meter, so it's not quite as strong. It takes about 2 minutes. Then there's a 2K race that we do, and that's about endurance. Those are my favorite ones. I like those. And it's endurance and it's timing, and the steer person is important because we turn corners and all the boats are out at once. So there's a boat coming up behind you. So the person up on the drum is saying, some coming up on your left. That means they're trying to pass us. And at one point they get right of way. So then we have to let them pass us. And sometimes they get really close. It gets pretty rough out there during a 2K
Jeez.
race. So it's an intense sport.
I can see that, and I want to now attend a dragon boating event because the 2K race sounds like a lot of fun. A little bit
It's
of a
something to watch.
demolition
It really
derby out there
is.
too.
It really is
Yeah.
something to watch. It's something to be part of too.
Well,
Um,
and that's the thing that I'm hearing is like, yes, it's sport, but I think one of the things that we also like have a strong pillar for is the community that comes along with it.
yeah,
And it sounds like you've found that. And
yeah.
is that part of, would you say that's one of the things that makes it sticky in your life is the people that come along with the sport?
The people, I'm enjoying it because it's keeping me in shape. That's the one thing that, and whenever I talk about, I don't know how long I'll be able to do this. And my husband says, you're liking this because it's keeping you in shape, and all the social contact, like you say, the people that I've met and, developed friendships with. Yeah, I want to keep doing this as long as my body allows me to.
That's great. So there's a level of competition to the sport that you see this as something that you're working towards is your fitness. So trying to improve yourself and then trying to improve as a crew. Do you have any long-term goals with exercise and sport, for example, whether it's in
Well, as
dragon
soon
boating
as
or
we
not?
finished crossing the lake, they said, okay, what are we going to do next? So the idea that came up was, okay, we race normally. So why don't we have a race across the lake? We'll get two boats and we'll race each other across the lake.
That's
so,
freaky. I like the way you guys are thinking. Or try do a horizontal crossing of Lake Ontario next.
so yeah, so that's already a thought that came up to try that.
That is awfully similar to us. It's every time you accomplish something that you thought, a year ago, 6 months ago would have been impossible, the moment you cross that finish line, it's what's next, bigger, better, faster, further, whatever it is.
Fantastic. And you
No,
guys are
that's
so
amazing.
young. My gosh, there's nothing stopping you.
A lot
Yeah.
of compound interest to come on our fitness.
Yeah, I feel like we could find a lot of like similarities between this dragon boat racing and this mindset and our, running or cycling journeys. So it's pretty cool to see that, a lot of same rooted experiences but through a different sport.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's so much about mindset, and you guys probably remember me as being a very positive attitude kind of person. I I just don't think of negative aspects of things. Like before the race, some people were saying I just want it to be over, or I'm worried about it. I said, I'm just excited about it. I'm just looking forward to it. And your mindset is so important about everything. Don't think about what can go wrong. Think about what can go right. It makes all the difference in the world. And push yourself and train. We knew we had trained all winter. We knew we were ready. So why not just be full of confidence and know you can do this?
I love it. Yeah, the burst of positive energy, I feel like it's essential to at least have one person in your group. I know for us, a lot of times when we're doing group stuff, that person is Tyler, where he's just that positive, nothing can go wrong energy. And I remember in high school, like we would be doing hard things that we thought were hard at the time, these tests, and you would always have little inspirational quotes or you can do it, send us even after we graduated, these nice little emails of checking in, like saying, oh, I know you're up to great things. So it's always nice to have that person that's just there to lift everyone's spirits up.
It
It's
is.
very
We
appreciated.
all need encouragement. We all need a push sometimes.
Now, a question for you. Do you track your activities and post them anywhere? Because one thing that we all use is a social network for athletes called Strava, in which you can comment, give kudos on people's activities and that sort of thing. And I see you have a smartwatch, and some of them can just automatically upload to the site.
Well, we have just a Fitbit, but we have a website for our paddling group. So we always post pictures from races, getting our medals, even videos of races. And well, I think that's how Andrew saw that I had done this, because he saw a post that I had put on Facebook, I think. So,
Yes, yeah.
and when we train as well, I don't know if you heard
That
that.
that that, that was easy.
This is a bananas moment.
See, that's a
Oh,
banana.
I remember that button. Oh, love it.
So our coach got us each this little book, and whenever we did a workout, a training during the winter, we would write down like what we had lifted that day, what we had pressed in a bench press, or how many minutes it took us to do a 2K on the paddling erg. We have a paddling machine that we can use to train. So we track our own that way.
Now, another topic on the topic of tracking, I'm pretty curious about nutrition and maybe specifically for the crossing. Kind of what did your eating, hydration, and what did you guys kind of target for that to get you all the way across to Toronto?
Well, we were allowed to bring 2 liters of water with us, because you never have anything in the boat. You don't have water with you in the boat. Wait a minute. Did we have water? Yes, we had. We had. I'm trying to remember. During races, you can't have a bottle of water in the boat. I'm trying to remember if we had our bottle of water with us. I don't think so. So when we had our break, we would have. That doesn't make sense. We would have had water in the boat to drink in the boat.
What did a break look like? Like, walk us through a break.
That's when people would get on and off the boat. So we started with some people getting off, and then the people staying in the boat would change seats, and then people coming on would come on the boat.
Then
So
just curious, did you guys
during that
practice
1 hour, pardon me?
Did you guys practice that during, like, I guess, let's say training? Because I would imagine it could get pretty dicey, everybody getting up on the boat and changing spots.
Well, we were supposed to practice the day before, but the boat wasn't in the water with us, so we couldn't practice the day before. But after the first one, it really wasn't that difficult. We managed. But as far as eating goes, some people said that they hadn't used the washroom at all for the whole time we were there. And it's surprising as far as nutrition, even during race days, it's surprising how I don't get hungry, but I always have a good big breakfast. Lots of protein. I have a big bowl of oatmeal with hemp seed and chia seed and flax seed. And I always have homemade muffins. So I have a really good breakfast, always, always. And then during maybe mid-morning, halfway through the morning, I make protein bars. I make my own protein bars. So I have a protein bar. And then I didn't eat anything after that until we had our break, until we were done, until we had lunch. And then I always have like a quinoa salad with chickpeas. I follow a plant-based diet. So with chickpeas, lentils, just good nutritious stuff. And a fruit. I always have fruit.
Nice. I'm curious, as a fellow plant-based eater, I had noticed that on your Instagram that you were plant-based. I'm curious when that transition happened and kind of maybe any reasons or if there's a specific shift.
Well, I'm a cancer survivor, and since that happened, I've always eaten healthfully, but that made me more aware of what I'm eating to see if I could make a difference in my health. And a client of my husband's, he had a bout with cancer, and he told me about plant-based eating. And he watched a movie, the Forks Over Knives movie. So I watched it, and I decided overnight, I'm going plant-based, and I switched overnight. I used to have an egg in the morning. I used to have yogurt every day. Now I have plant-based yogurt, but I just switched overnight, and I like to cook. So I like to try different recipes. So it hasn't been a problem. I enjoy eating. So I make sure that I'm making something that's I look forward to eating. And that was since 2017 that I've been following a plant-based diet. And it's one thing I credit my husband for, because he makes sure that I'm getting the proper nutrition. I take essential amino acids every morning with breakfast. And I also have creatine every day. And I got this off the package to make sure I said this right.
That's why the paddles are so strong. That's why you're not lily dipping, is all these nice supplements that you're on. You're really staying on top of it.
Creatine increase. This is for your listeners in case they probably all know this. Creatine increases energy and enhances athletic performance and muscle mass.
Oh yeah, I might have to start taking that.
Creatine. Yeah.
Yeah, I take it every single morning, and I think it's a supplement that everybody should be taking, especially those that are plant-based.
Plant-based, yeah.
Because it's mainly found in red meat, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And even if you are eating red meat, you're not getting enough creatine to fully, what is it? Yeah, to kind of like have your full dose of creatine that you should have every day.
Well, it helps you build muscles.
One other question I have on the topic of supplements is, do you use or have a go-to plant-based protein powder? I know a lot can be a little chalky and not mix well, so I'm curious what you enjoy.
I need one of those.
I'd have to go get the container. I think it's called Vega.
Yeah,
I get it at Costco.
Vega's a big one, yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, that's what I use.
That's what I'm on as well, and I think it's like mass market plant-based protein powder, and it seems to be good. It comes in all the flavors, but I know what you mean, Andrew, in like the chalkiness to it, because it's not the same as a whey-based protein, which has, of course, it's a little more milky because it is a milk derivative.
You just take the time to mix it well.
Yeah, exactly. I also use Vega, and I like it quite a bit, so I think it's a pretty good one.
When I found out, when I got the message from you that you wanted me to do this, that my husband and we send each other an email every day, because he goes to bed much later than I do, and I get up in the morning, he's not up. So we have an email at least.
I should start that.
It's nice. It's something for us to look forward to. So he sent me this little statement about athleticism. I think you'll like this. Athletic achievements encompass a wide range of accomplishments, from winning championships and setting records to overcoming personal challenges and pushing the boundaries of human performance. They inspire awe, admiration, and respect for the dedication, discipline, and sacrifice required to excel in sports. Beyond the trophies and accolades, athletic achievements symbolize the triumph of the human spirit and serve as reminders of what is possible with determination and perseverance. So I said, I have to share this with these guys. They're going to like this.
That's amazing. Yeah, couldn't have said it any better. That is very true in every sense.
I think I'm going to have to chop that up for a short. You might see that posted on socials, because I think that's very well said and summarizes like the complexity that is life in sport really well.
I can scan it and send it to you.
Yeah, send us a picture of it too. Yeah.
I think you delivered it perfectly, though. I think just a segment of just hot tips or spicy tips with Bernadette would be a killer segment, because the delivery was on point.
Something crossed my mind too. I'm just trying to think. I remember when we were in school, you used to walk to work as well. So that was a form. That was maybe you're dipping your toe into the endurance game before you even knew it.
There's Under Armour has this challenge every year. It started in 2020. Walk 1,020 kilometers in 2020, and I've been doing that ever since 2020.
So every year you've been doing, yeah.
I usually walk 4 kilometers, a good power walk in the morning, and another 2.5 in the evening with my husband.
You do more mileage than I do during the week.
But recently, and this is aging, like I've always said that my age has never bothered me. Never. I've worn buttons to show my age. Starting when I turned 50, I wore a macaron. I'm 50 today. And the last one was I'm 69 today. And my age doesn't bother me. But in the last 3 months or so, my body is like, I've got pains now, and my husband's been promising me this. Wait till you're my age. Well, I'm there. So I've got osteoarthritis, and I've got pain in my right hip, my behind, and the repetitive strain, because I paddle right. You sit on that side of your body. So now to try and reduce that strain on my body, I've now started practicing paddling left, and it isn't pretty.
Oh, I saw the video of you where it was caught on evidence of you paddling left. It was looking good.
Oh, but
it was looking good.
Something on one side, all of a sudden it's the exact opposite, and you're turning the opposite way, and
it's like me. I can't I can't breathe on my right. It's just like I have 2 left feet. I gotta breathe on my left. So I understand.
Just
2 left lungs
in a certain way. It's muscle memory, and all of a sudden you're doing the exact opposite.
It's true.
Is there any other kind of supplementary work, whether it's like yoga, stretching, going to see a physiotherapist, is there anything like that you incorporate into your routine?
I have an infrared mat that we lie on at home. It's something that we spent the money to have this. So there's different buttons on it. So I always push recovery. And always the morning after I've paddled, I do 20 minutes on the infrared mat, which is very useful.
Brian, seems like you're going to buy one for the
This
pain
is
cave.
wild. This is like Normatec boots, but for the whole body, basically. Well, Normatec's different, but it's like
recovery mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks pretty amazing. I mean, if it's helping you recover and helping you have as much as a positive spirit as getting out there the next day, I think it's doing its job.
Is that a warm mat? Does that warm you up?
It does have heat, but we've also, my husband set up a contraption up top. We have like a red light hanging up top from the ceiling. So we lie on the infrared mat, and we've got the red light above us.
So it's like
I think you might need to send us a picture of this setup, because I think you have three boys that are quite interested.
It's well worth it. It's well worth it, just because your body needs to recover.
And it sounds like it like warms you up a little bit, like it's with the red light as well, and heat acclimation and heat training is all the buzz right now at the top level of most endurance sports. It's really coming to the forefront
I will
as a
definitely.
training
I'll
technique.
send you the link to the
Yeah.
to the.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
that
really
sounds
interesting.
amazing.
Yeah, because this is like you could get heat training in while you're sleeping, or at
On
least
this
like
map.
taking a lie down. I know
Yeah.
like some of the top runners are like playing video games in their full like heat suits instead of going out for runs in their heat suits. The
Ah.
Club pod was talking about that. You might just be revolutionizing the game right now,
And
Bernadette.
you didn't even know it. And you didn't even know it.
Oh.
That's wild. Yeah, I like that. And I guess
Well,
I know. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
what's important, I think, especially for people in sports, it's important for anybody, but especially for people who are challenging their bodies. We have to look after our bodies, because if we don't, our bodies are going to tell us, and your body's just going to stop at some point. Like you're not respecting your body, and it's going to shut down. It's going to create pain. It's going to stop you from doing something that you want to do, because you're not taking care of your body.
Exactly. And you at the same time you have to respect it as well.
That's right. That's right. You can't abuse your body.
Absolutely. And another question I have for you is, as I had mentioned, you were always having those words of wisdom and inspirational quotes as we were in school, taking on tests or hard, challenging things. What would be one piece of advice to someone that is maybe intimidated by dipping their toe into their first big endurance challenge?
I would just say, if you don't try, you'll never know whether you can do it or not. If you don't push yourself, you don't know how far you can go. And
Someone great once said,
you
"You
don't
miss
want to wind up
100% of
with
the shots you don't
regrets.
take."
If you don't try it, you'll just regret not having tried it. I'm sorry, I missed something.
Oh no, I just said something silly. It's okay.
Tyler was
Like
quoting
usual.
Wayne Gretzky over
Oh,
your quote.
if you don't try it, you could wind up regretting. I wish I had. I wish I had. Just try it.
So you're saying just sign up for that race. You've heard it here. Sign up for that race.
Exactly.
Try to
Exactly.
push yourself.
Exactly.
I like that.
And once you sign up, make sure you train so that you're ready.
I like that. That's great. Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Yes,
Bananas.
Tyler? Bananas.
Bananas. I lost my train of thought. Go ahead, Andrew.
I think it's important not to
Andrew,
limit
we can't hear
yourself.
you.
You can do whatever you set your mind.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that we've been about from the get-go is like we're showing ourselves and some of our failures as well, but we're always trying to push the limits, and it's cool to see such a diverse group pushing the limits, doing something that hadn't been done before. An all-female crew doing something like that is just huge. It's a spectacular endeavor, and it sounds like the whole crew pulled together, trained together, because
Absolutely.
a day like that is not successful without the preparation.
Yeah.
So it's certainly something to be proud of, and I hope that your positive energy that you brought to the pod today is something that will motivate people who are already participating in sport, and maybe some of the people who are listening who don't currently participate in sport to dip their toe in the water.
That would be great.
Yeah, yeah. If you could leave the like listeners with one of what sports mean to you now that maybe you didn't think it would mean to you before, what would one of those things be?
I think it's a perfect example of just trying something. I got in touch with my phys ed teacher at a high school reunion a few years back. I was useless in phys ed. It was the only course that brought my average down because I was no good in phys ed. And she knows that. And I tried, but I just wasn't any good. And now look at me. And it's
That's amazing.
just, you can do whatever you put your mind to. Just try it. Just try it. One thing that our coach does after every practice, this is something good. It would be good after any race or any training session. She says, not every practice, I'm sorry, after every race, we do a debrief. And she said, okay, I want you to tell me 3 positive things about that race. So we have to tell her 3, whoever, somebody comes up with something positive about that race. And she said, okay, what are 3 things that we can improve on for the next race? After every race, we do that.
Yeah, that's a really good habit to have, and a good coach that like pushes that to be something that's discussed. I think like for us, a lot of the time endurance sports is a lonely game. because you're competing as one. And
Yeah.
it's you never really run through that kind of protocol after a race, but it's a good reminder for people to do those retrospectives.
Well, you can for yourself. What worked well for me during this race, and what can I improve on for the next race? You could still do that for a running race, I would think.
Oh, most definitely. But I don't think it's something that like it comes to the forefront because you just
Oh,
internalize it all with something like running, unless you're debriefing with your friends
yes,
afterwards.
okay.
It's
Hmm.
just not something that you're, jotting down in a notebook or having a discussion with a crew about.
And interestingly, even as a member of a team, when we're doing our winter training, we're not like, I'm not trying to lift what 35-year-old Carlos is doing. You compare with yourself. You see
Exactly.
that I'm getting better. I'm getting stronger. It doesn't matter what the other person's doing. We encourage each other and we help each other. And Carlos will be the spotter for somebody. We always spot each other, but we're not trying to compete with anybody other than ourselves.
And how do you feel that progress motivating you?
It's very motivating because you realize that, okay, I'm working really, really hard, but I'm getting stronger. We have a special scale that I stand on, and it tells me how much muscle mass I've gained in the last month.
That's
So
amazing.
So that's helpful too. That's encouraging. I
And
say,
it's
yay, I
encouraging, I
gained
think.
some
Yeah.
muscle.
Yeah, to see some of the data that's progressing is one thing that's nice, but also just the feeling of getting fit, I'm sure, is a huge
Yeah,
motivating factor
feeling
as well.
stronger. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And do you find in the day to day, you're noticing that strength that you're building in sport actually improve other aspects of your life?
Just my energy level. I have tons of energy.
I hope the listeners can feel that because I certainly do.
Oh
It's
yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
I wasn't gonna do anything tonight, but I think a run is looking real good right now. I've got all this energy now.
And what's good about it is that once you do it, you feel so good about it afterwards. Sometimes you have to give yourself a boot in the rear, a kick in the rear to get out there and do it. Oh, I don't feel like it today. But after you've done it, you're proud of yourself and you physically feel good because you've done something good for your body
Exactly. Yeah. And
and
I
for
think
your mind.
that's exactly it. I was just going to add, and mental too.
Yeah.
I think that's the what we strive for, and part of our whole community is just getting out there, doing something fun, doing something that'll challenge you both physically and mentally. So thank you very much for joining us today. This
I'm
was an
feeling so
amazing.
proud listening to you. I'm feeling very proud of where you guys are in your life. I
Yeah,
I'm
this has been an amazing interview. I actually really like this interview. I think a lot of listeners, we're going to get a lot of people listening to this one, and I know it's been well awaited. I've been teasing this to a lot of family members. So I think we'll have a good listening squad here on this one.
Well, I thank you for inviting me. It's a highlight of my year with that lake crossing. This will be a highlight. I've never done a podcast before. This has been fun. Thank you.
If today's episode did fire you up, hit that follow button and share it with your training crew. If you're on Strava, join our Boys in Motion Strava group. And if you want to try a 63-kilometer dragon boat race or crossing of Lake Ontario, you now know the blueprint to do so.
And of course, a reminder that we're just a bunch of boys who love endurance sports and love nerding out with other people that have the same passion. We're not medical professionals, so talk to an expert before paddling across any lakes. Seriously. And before we let you go, can you just tell us what is next on your calendar and where people can find you for that next big challenge that you're going to take on?
Races. The summer is always races. There's a big race in Toronto, actually, GWN race. We just did a big race in Hamilton. There's going to be a race in Stratford. There's one in Welland on the 9th of August. So just being ready for the races
Awesome.
and getting more
Keep an eye
medals.
out. We'll definitely keep an eye out for those, and I guess you'll be posting, I hope, some progress on and your positions on Facebook.
I will.
Amazing. We'll listen. We'll look out for that. Thank you very much again, Bernadette, for this time and for this amazing interview.
Thank you so much.